Good morning and welcome to all of you. On behalf of everyone at the monastery, the Mahasangha presided by my teacher Guru Swami Nuhanse, all of us, the Anagarikas, and everyone else, I would like to warmly welcome you all. What time did you leave home? Last night? Almost. Okay. I hope you got yourself some good rest. What were you doing on the way here? Sightseeing? Looking out the window? Or did you get some shut-eye? Today is going to be, if my calculations are right, a life-changing day for many of you. Because that is our resolve. Ladies and gentlemen, we have benefited immensely from the Buddha Sasana. That is why I can speak with conviction, the power that lay in the Dhamma. You're looking at a life that changed. It didn't happen overnight, but every night there's a little bit of a change. Every single night. I'm never the same person I was the previous day. If so, then you shouldn't even be offering alms to me. Because when you do, you have a resolve that you make. You're determined to offer something, be that a spoonful of rice, be that a robe, be that shelter, whatever. You make such an offering in the hope that there are men and women in this world who strive on to achieve a happiness that transcends all kinds of happiness that is known to man. This kind of happiness is only known to the Aryans. But it is available to all humans if only they take the time, effort, and good guidance from a teacher to aspire to that. So this is why you're here today. I'm thrilled to have you here today because, for one very special reason, when the Buddha established the Buddha Sasana, he spoke of the Noble Triple Gem. There's the Buddha, there's the Dhamma, and there's the Sangha. Never fall into the trap of thinking that the Sangha is one individual. Because if you do so, then you become reliant and dependent on one individual. One must only do that at one's own peril. Because when you do that, what happens when that person is no longer? You are left without a teacher. Do you recall when the Buddha was asked, "Venerable Sir, upon your passing away, who is our teacher?" People had this question. So then he said, "My teaching continues to be your teacher as it was while I was still alive. I was merely the messenger." See, even the Buddha, who we refer to as the Dharma Swami, the Dharma Rajan Mahansa, he's the emperor, he's the king, he's the supreme power. But all he did was actually bring us the Dhamma. This is why even to this day, we have what it takes to produce Rahatan Mahanses amongst ourselves. Because although the Buddha is not here in person, the Buddha is here in spirit. But this is not the spirit that you hear of in the Holy Trinity. It's a different kind of spirit. I mean the essence of Buddhism. It is in the teaching. It is the teaching that created the Buddha. People sometimes ask me, where was the Buddha born? I think I shared this story with you last time. Where was the Buddha born? Absolutely. Well done. The Buddha was born here. I want the Buddha to be born for all of you. In your hearts, you will experience the Buddha. So when someone asks you, who is the Buddha? One day you can say, I am the Buddha. Then they'll ask you, what? You don't look like the Buddha. Then you can reply, what do you think the Buddha looks like? What should the Buddha look like? Because the Buddha is not someone that has a specific form. That is Gautama Siddhartha, our teacher. We revere him with utmost respect because of the message that he brought to us. The Buddha is not a who, the Buddha is a what. Freedom is Buddha. The truth is Buddha. Liberation is Buddha. Happiness is Buddha. If you can be happy despite whatever goes on around you, unconditionally, then you have achieved Buddhahood. That is who the great Arahants are. Note, I didn't say that is who the Arahants were. We should not speak in the past tense. Because that gives us the impression that they'd come and gone. That's it. No. When we set up this monastery, just over 6 years ago, we had a firm belief and resolve that Arahants will once again roam this earth. But they are not to be imported. They're not going to come here from Mars and Venus and Saturn and Jupiter. As far as I know, they haven't discovered any Arahants in that. They're still looking for species, life. So Arahants are still going to be a stretch. But we have all that it takes to create an Arahant, don't we? We have the Dhamma, and what do you have? What do you have? What is required to create an Arahant? Have you heard the words Dharmai Obai? Yes, that is what is required to create an Arahant. The Dharma, which we can offer you, and then you. That's it. Which part of you? My head, shoulders, knees and toes? Knees and toes? Which part of you? Just your mind, that's all. But of course, you come as a package, which is a little bit of an inconvenience. Otherwise, we could have started this program even a little bit earlier. And we needn't have worried with setting up the furniture, arranging the hall, or looking after your meals and all that. So we had, this is a one-day program, but do you know how much work went into actually organizing this? To do something good is never easy, as I'm sure you'll know, because I'm sure you get involved in organizing all sorts of things. You're probably running half the country. So we are here with purpose, as I always remind you. So there are a few things I want to share with you before we prepare ourselves for today's program. We have a well thought out, I don't want to use the word packed because I don't know what impression it might give you. What have you come here for? Relax, chillax. The first thing I want to get across to you, as you have come here for, within air quotes, meditation, it's very important to understand what meditation is and is not. Because there are various schools of thought around what meditation is. And if you get the wrong idea, then most of you will walk away today thinking, we didn't meditate today. The truth is, I expect you to be meditating right now. I am meditating all the time. If the Dharma and you is all that is required, then meditation must not require you sitting in a certain posture. Although, for convenience, there are certain postures that we take on, but that should not be a mandatory requirement. So today you will learn how you can meditate when you're seated, when you're walking, when you're lying down, when you're cleaning, when you're driving, when you're cooking, when you're washing, when you're attending to your children's homework, when you're making your bed. Isn't that what you want? Because let's be honest, if I'm to share with you how to meditate when you're at the temple, sitting cross-legged, when are you going to do that meditation again? When? Sometimes maybe never again. So why train you on doing something that you're never going to do again? There's not much point, is there? So really, what you need is the practical application of Dhamma. That's what you need. How do you practically apply the Dhamma regardless of the environment in which you are, no matter what you are doing. Because you need to become an arahant not when you are sat down meditating. You need to become an arahant when you realize the truth in the present moment. And the present moment is all that it takes. But then some might think, well, is that just being aware of the present moment? It's not just being aware of the present moment. It's about being mindfully aware of the present moment. So that's not just thinking, I'm listening to the Dhamma, I'm listening to the Dhamma, I'm listening to the Dhamma, and I'm listening to the Dhamma. Or I'm sat on my seat, I'm sat on my seat, I'm sat on my seat, and I'm sat on my seat. It's not just that. Even parrots can do that. No, what you're supposed to be doing is reflecting on the truth. As you experience through your 5 senses, the world coming into you, sight, sound, smells, taste, touch, and thoughts that pass through your mind, these fleeting thoughts, as they come and go, what I want you to do is to reflect on their reality. What are they really? Who are you really? This is what we call yoniso manasikara. And that yoniso manasikara can happen doing whatever. I'm doing it right now. That is why I don't feel like I'm talking to a bunch of people. I'm actually talking to chittas. That is the truth. The absolute truth is I'm only talking to chittas. But you've come here with some bodies, which, as I said, is a little bit of an inconvenience, but that's how we get it. It's the package. When you marry your spouse, what else do you get? You get the in-laws. Yeah? That's the package. Take it or leave it. So throughout the day, you'll be given instructions on how you can make the most of the day. And I'll share with you a few tips to make the best out of today, because you have invested a whole day, which is quite something. But before we do that, now I'm going to get you to observe the 10 precepts. Now let's take a quick show of hands. If you observe the 10 precepts, I don't mean the 5, I don't mean the 8. If you've observed the 10 precepts before, just give me a quick show of hands. Anyone in the audience? 10 precepts? Okay, we have some Shravikas and Siddhavasis and so on, regulars at the monastery, so some of you are familiar with that, very good. 8 precepts, most of you. Do I need to ask about the 5 precepts? I shan't. Okay, so by that count, I think there are a few who have not observed the precepts, or the 8 precepts, anything more than the 5 precepts so far in their life. So as I said, it's a life-transforming day. Today you will observe for the first time the 8 precepts. It is a higher level of practice. I'm not going to say it's a higher level of virtue. It's a higher level of practice, because virtue is here. This is a practice. You subscribe to a certain way in which you wish to conduct yourself throughout the course of the day. These are precepts. Precepts are also called training rules. As a bhikkhu, I have 227 training rules. These rules, they're not so much rules. You can think of them as, well, they are rules technically, but you can think of them as guidance. This is the guidance that the Buddha has laid down for me, which helped me on my path to liberation. Truth be told, whether it's the 5, the 8, or the 10, ultimately they all encompass the same thing. It's all focused towards Nibbana. So whether it's 5, 8, or 10, you're on track to Nibbana. But the more you have, the more focused you can be. So let's get started with that. So a bit of housekeeping then. Thank you for the reminder. Today, I want you to try and be in isolation. This is not an unusual thing, so don't worry, your friends will still be here at the end of the day. You'll still be in a community, right? But I want you to try and observe what we refer to as noble silence. To practice noble silence, it helps if you can speak little, speak less. Because today is a time to reflect. It's a day of reflection. Less speaking and more thinking. You know, as the saying goes, when your mouth opens, what locks? Oh, you've heard it, right? Some people are like that. When they start talking, their brains lock up, right? So they make no sense. Everyone's a wise person until they do what? Until they open their mouths. You've heard this. But on a serious note though, what I want you to try and do today, just try, right? There are no hard and fast rules here, because we are not here to be restrained. We are here actually to find freedom. So do try to remain as silent as you can, so it helps every other individual, including yourself, to contemplate on their practice, because they're probably thinking about something. As they're walking, as they're eating, as they're looking around. Sometimes you might think, why is this person looking around? He's not even practicing today. He's wasting his time. Probably not. In fact, this time you spend passing judgment, you're probably the one who's not practicing. They're well and truly practicing, because they're opening their eyes, they're looking around, and they see a tree, and they think to themselves, is there a tree here? Or is it simply a manifestation? That is probably what they're thinking of. So to be able to do so, let's afford everyone the opportunity to practice. And you can do that by maintaining noble silence. Now that's not to say that if you see something wrong, if you see something, someone in distress, someone needs help, then please intervene and help and support, because as we always do, this is the community that we need to look after each other. What the Sangha is, ladies and gentlemen, is a bunch of people who come together to create the environment. Once the environment is there, now you practice alone. That's how we do it. Even at the monastery, we have 400 permanent residents by this point, if not more, and we create this environment. See, we've created an environment for you. This, not one man did. We did it collectively, and you are part of it as well. There are those among you who wish to arrange the alms for today. So you've made offerings to prepare the alms for today. There are those among you who've done that. There are those among you who arranged the transport, getting here today and getting back, and maybe for Gilampasa and so on. That is what the Sangha does. They look after each other. But your practice is a private affair. Your Nibbana is a private affair. You've heard Ringa Ringa Roses, haven't you? Have you heard of Ringa Ringa Nibbana? No, so you don't get around a circle, hold hands with the people either side of you and do, let's go Nibbana. You can't do Ringa Ringa Nibbana. Okay? Nibbana is a private affair. But creating the environment for Nibbana, that we do collectively. Right, so now I'm going to precept you with the 10 precepts. And it is customary, when you are precepted, to request from the Venerable to precept you. So there's a line that you have to say to request the precepts. It is our way of showing piety and respect and obedience. In the sasana, that is a very important part. It is what keeps the sasana going to this day. But it also shows your humbleness, because without humility, you're not going to get anywhere. So we need to get off our high horses. Not that any of you came in on a horse, did you? There was horsepower you came on, but not horses, right? So I will be requesting one of our Anagarika Mahatayas to recite the line that you'll have to repeat after him. And once you've done that, I will be giving you the precepts, which you will now take on. And once you've done so, you will have taken an oath to observe the 10 precepts, which is the same observance that all our Anagarikas and Anagarikas take at the monastery. The Samanera Swamin Vahanses, upon receiving their ordination, there's just one small difference that they do when they observe the precepts. So you'll be observing the Gahatta Dasasil, whereas they observe the Pabbajja Dasasil. That's the only difference. But the precepts themselves are the same. Until you receive your higher ordination, and then you have the 227, which get replaced, which replaces the 10. So when you're ready for that, I'll let you know. But for the time being, can we be content with just the Ghata Dasasya? Is that all right? Or do you feel like, no, why is that? Why can't we also observe the Upasampadas here? Please form an orderly queue. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So now you have observed the 10 precepts. For some of you, you've never done this before. Actually, for most of you, you've never done this before. You have now elevated yourself to a higher level of practice. You are aspiring to a higher level of morality and virtue. It's an incredible feat, ladies and gentlemen. The very fact that you've managed to get yourself here, by here I don't mean under this roof, but to observe the 10 precepts. Most people die without even having heard of what the 10 precepts are. But the precepts themselves don't make a lot of sense if we don't live by them, do they? It only takes a few moments to think about the world outside. People observe the 5 precepts day in, day out, but if only at least a handful of people actually lived by those 5 precepts, this world would be a better place. But today, we are here to develop ourselves and cultivate the Dhamma within ourselves, and hopefully, I want for some of you at least to attain the first step on the path to Nibbana. It is possible. What if all of you could go back home today having become Sotapannas? You'll be freed from the 4 great hells once and for all. You will receive noble association today. The Mahasangha, out of sheer compassion, will bathe you in the Dhamma. All our devotees, and all of yourselves as well, together, what you need to do is generate the energy that we need in here. It's not a visible energy, so don't be using you can't be looking at instruments to come and measure it. That's not how it works. This energy is energy that you generate within your heart itself. Your mind is going to be doing that. And that energy is going to help you understand the Dhamma as well as influence the people sat either side of you. These things work. They do. So finally, once again, I wish to welcome you all wholeheartedly and warmly. For some of you, this will become home soon enough. That is what I want for you. I only say this because I know what I enjoy here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a bliss like no other. You will experience it one day. I want this to become home for some of you. And if wishes can come true, then let's see. But may all the merits that you have acquired throughout your lives, from offering dana, to offering the Buddha puja, to observing precepts, to listening to the Dhamma, and so on, may all those merits you have acquired throughout your lives come to you on this day and help you to understand the Dhamma. May any obstacles that lay in your path on the way to Nibbana be removed today. And may the sermons that you listen to help you to make that first step to becoming a stream enterer and to enter the path of Nibbana. May the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem always be with you all. So now I would like to warmly and most respectfully invite the Most Venerable Kottave Hemadokatero to speak to you and give you a discourse that will help you and guide you on what you need to be doing throughout today's program and the contemplation that you need to be doing during your meditation sessions. Therwan Sarnai.
So, I think Amadasana Swami Nanse has been delivering the sessions to all of you in past 6 or 10 months, 7, 8, somewhere around, yeah? Okay, so it's, is there anyone who hasn't listened to any of those sermons and who are very new to this? I mean, You just... Are you all familiar with these topics? Vexation, pleasure, and those? If there's anyone who doesn't know these things, I mean, can I get a show of hands? Anyone very new? Yes? Okay. So, I forgot to introduce myself, right? Most of you might know me. Yeah, I'm Hema Lokatero. So, back in the day when I was lay, I used to be a software engineer. I was very fond of the technology, the phones, the software, AI, that kind of guy. So I think the young people in the audience might be similar people, and I always had a life like, I guess I didn't spend much time in a village or that's kind of a background. So I think you might have spent the similar kind of life. So I might I might be able to understand you and your life. So let's see. So back in the day, I usually do all the things for my happiness, right? So like all of you. So I thought the happiness is gained from the outside and all the food. So I wanted to taste everything, absolutely everything, all the exotic food. And in my bucket list, I had all those food from Chinese, German, Mongolian to very exotic countries, African countries, all those things. So I was going behind those things, and like the movies, even to watch all the things, top 10 of box office, I couldn't go without watching that. I couldn't resist not watching the top 10 of box office. So within the year, I wanted to watch all those. I think we all might have this similar experience with our lives. So we do everything for the happiness, right? To acquire happiness, to be happy. I mean, what else? Why else you live your life? For anything else? No, just for happiness, right? Yes, we are good people. We do a lot of things to make others happy. Yes, because it will make us happy as well. All right. So, so this life, a tech guy with, so much passion for software and all those. How did he end up in a robe? You have that question? Yeah, I had that question as well. So, let's see. Being an engineer, analyzing the world was, one of the things I was fond of. I wanted to analyze every single thing. So I tried to analyze my life as well as the happiness. And this journey that I have taken, I want all of you to take. Don't take anything because I say so, or Amadasana Swaminatha say so, or even Buddha say so. Don't take it. Just take it, reason it, and analyze it. If it becomes your truth, it is Buddha's truth, yes? Yes, it is Buddha's truth, but is it your truth? Don't take anything until it is your truth. It becomes your truth. So, I want you all to reflect on what we say until it becomes your truth. So as Amadasa Swaminathan just said, the Dharma is there. The Buddhist truth is there. You have your truth, which is your life. You live your life. That is your truth, right? So we have to match those two. Dharmai, obey. Right? So that is why we are here for. We came here to match these two truths, to analyze the life. We should be scientists or engineers. We are going to analyze and engineer the mind, engineer the happiness. We have to find the happiness or the logic of happiness. All right? Okay. So, let's analyze your life and my life, right? So, back in the day, I wanted to, let's say, what do you do to be happy? Let's say, okay, movies. What is the latest movie that what is the hype these days? I don't know. Back in the day when I came from the lay life, it was Avengers and Spider-Mans and all those Marvel and DC comics. And Transformers. Of course, I loved my Transformers. Is it still there? No Transformers? Is it dead? No, I don't think so. Okay, so let's analyze that situation. Okay, as soon as you get to know that a new movie is coming, I don't know, some people will like those science fiction, some will like a story with storylines and romantic stories, history. You have a lot of genres, so whatever. All right, so let's take Transformers for the example, so I can relate, right? Okay, so there's a new movie coming up. You see the advertisement. How do you feel right now? Yeah, you will feel excited, all right, yes. Okay, excited to watch the movie. You want to watch the movie, right? Okay, so you like that feeling, you will say that you are excited, but what about the yearning inside? What about the urge inside? Do you like that? Do you like to stay like that without watching the movie? Yes, there's a build-up, of course, but you want to get yourself relieved of that urge, the yearning, or simply put, the vexation, the pressure, right? So now the moment you watch the movie, you feel good, right? Because there were a lot of things building up inside, a pressure, a vexation building up inside. Okay, let's see. You heard the news about the movie today, and it is releasing in 1 month's time. And now you want to watch it. Maybe you want to watch the premiere. Yeah, I had that craze as well, to watch the premiere. Yeah, you have to pre-book things and do all those. And you can put to all other examples as well. This is one example, right? So you have 30 days. So now you have this urge to watch the movie. And weeks pass by, what happens to your urge? It builds up. It builds up day by day. All right. Now, let's imagine. Tomorrow is the premiere. Now today, you might even get all the merchandise and you wear the Transformers t-shirt even. Right? Now you want to dress in that costume, not the Transformers costume, but yeah. You want to wear that. You want to have the wallpaper in your phone. Transformers wallpaper? How do I know this? Okay, let's not go there. Okay, all those wallpapers and even the profile pictures, all those. Why? There's a huge urge building up inside, right? Okay. Now you are at the premiere. The movie starts. The movie. Right? Yeah. So, now you feel happy. Okay, now you feel happy, right? The movie started, now you feel happy. Can you just go home now? No, it is just the movie just began. How can you do that? Okay, so you watch the movie, you feel a lot of pleasure out of it. Yes? And now you feel that honestly you feel this pleasure, this happiness is coming from the movie. Why? When I watch the movie, I experience this pleasure. That's the truth. That is truth. That is your truth of your life, right? You see the movie, you feel the happiness. I can't argue with that. Okay. Now the happiness is coming from the movie. The happiness is coming from the movie. That is what you feel. Okay. Now, the story builds up. You know how these things happen. So the story slowly builds up and goes to its climax. And there's the fight, and every movie is like that. So the hero and someone is kidnapped or something like that, and they are going to destroy the city, whatever. So now the climax is there. Now you enjoy every moment of it, right? That is what you feel. Okay, let's pause it there and take an analogy. A cup. Okay, let's say this holds 500 milliliters, somewhere around that, right? Okay, so if you put 500 milliliters here, that means this will be filled up to the brim, right? So when you pour water inside, what do you do when it comes to the brim? Do you continue? No, you stop it. Right? Because it will overflow otherwise. You just want to fill it. You don't just put it until it goes away over the brim, over the edge. Right? Okay. So now back to the Transformers example. Right? Now you experience the climax. So you feel that you are elated at this time, and you feel that you are having the time of your life. Don't you? Right? So now at this moment, you're full, right? At the brim. At the brim? Okay. Now what do? You stop pouring and say thank you very much and go home. At the climax, will you do that? No? But it's filled now. Why don't you do that? You don't want it to overflow, right? You'll say, thank you very much. I enjoyed it. And I'm full now. Would you say that? No, you can't do that. You want more. I want more. I want... What if electricity... there's an electricity outage at that point. What do you feel? You'll be so frustrated, and I don't know. The organizing committee or the cinema will get a piece of your mind, right? So, come on. Okay, you had mental pressure before you started watching the movie. Of course. Now you have watched. You are full of happiness. Full of pleasure. Now, you should be able to stop now. Right? You should be able to stop now because it is up to the brim. Would you be able to? No. So, if this happiness is coming from the Transformers movie, you should be able to stop right now. But the problem is, you cannot do that. You are, when I say you, I share the same experience I had when I was late. So, this moment, you relieve yourself out of that vexation, that great pressure you had inside, right? But because of that, it is an internal, pressure builds up. Does it build up, in the movie? No, right? Is it in the cinema? No, it is in the mind. It's the internal thing. The pressure builds up inside. Right? So, whatever happens on the outside, what does the movie has to do with pressure and relief of pressure? Can a movie come and relieve your pressure? This vexation builds up inside. Okay, if the Transformers movie can give you happiness, can you watch it for the second time? Of course, Swaminathan, I can watch it for the second time. Okay. What about... Tonight, you have the repeat telecast of the Transformers movie. Okay, you want happiness tomorrow as well? Okay, we'll show the Transformers movie tomorrow as well. What about the day after? You still feel that you want to watch a movie? We'll show the same thing again. And what about the fourth day? No, Swami, it's not Transformers again. Why? If this happiness was an inherent property of this movie, you should be able to watch it over and over and over again and gain the same amount of happiness each time. Right? So, is that the case? If that is the case, it is so simple, right? You just collect all the things that makes you happy and consume it every day. It's like a pill, the happiness pill, you take it and consume it. That's the end of story. You don't have to go around earning money and going to supermarkets, movies. And what about traveling around the world? Sightseeing? Yeah, I had a vision to go to every country, all 196 countries. Yes, I wanted to do that and follow all the Formula 1 teams and whatnot. Yeah. So, if this happiness is inherent property of one of those, either the movie or the food, you should be able to consume the same thing over and over and over again. Right? I mean, okay, if you're thirsty, I'll drink water. Water will quench my thirst. What about you, sir? What about you all? For the thirst, everyone consumes water. Right? But for the happiness, there's wide variety of things. I mean, okay, let's go to a supermarket, right? There are alleys and alleys of variety. I mean, if the happiness is self-contained, if happiness is contained in one of those items, will there be variety? Will the other company be able to sell something else? No, right? If let's say, okay, Cadbury, or I like Milka actually, back in the day. No brand names, I'm sorry. So, X chocolate. So, if that had the happiness inbuilt, will other companies be able to sell any other product? No. Just that. Because that gives happiness to everyone. Right? But the thing is, as we all know, think about your truth. What is your truth? Is there anything that you can name that can make you happy forever? Consuming that same thing again and again and again and again? Is there anything that can make you happy forever? No, right? Games? No. So, that is why there's those industries, movie industry, gaming industry, food industry, they have a job because you want different things on different days. Right? So, now we have established that it cannot be inside there on that object or the movie, the food, whatever, right? Then there should be, those urge, the vexation, the pressure that builds inside, it has to do something. It has something to do with this pleasure, this happiness you feel, right? Okay. So, whenever you hear about something, about this, the movie, at that moment, your mind goes into a state of vexation or pressure or some sort of a negative energy, a yearning, right? So, at the moment, more time you spend with that vexation inside, the build up towards the experience, that will increase your vexation, right? Every moment, every passing moment will increase your vexation. Let's draw a mental graph. So, you will be decreasing your happiness. In the sense, increasing the vexation, right? So now, you are at a negative level. Before you got to know about the movie, you were at the neutral level about the movie. There were other vexations, of course. But about that movie, there were no vexation. But as soon as you got to know about the movie, now your mental state degraded. Do you agree? Is that your truth? I want you to compare your truth. Compare your life. Don't take anything because any Swamin Wahanse or even the Buddha says so. Just compare with your truth. Dharmayai Abha. right? All right. So, at the moment of relief of vexation, or the moment you experience the pleasure, this negative level, the negative mental level will go back up. It is like a spring. When you pull it, there's a lot of pressure, stress inside. And as soon as you let it go, it'll contract and release that energy. You'll feel cool and happy. Right? Is that your experience? Yes, of course. Okay. So that all of those happened inside. So we don't have anything to do with the outside world. Now, the internal system should be able to build this vexation and relief of vexation. How does that happen? Okay, so the movie. Shall we take another example? What about ice cream? Do you like some Haagen-Dazs? Yes? No? No brand names again. I'm sorry. X ice cream. So, everyone like to have some ice cream? Yeah? Okay. Because you all believe that ice cream gives you happiness, right? Ice cream, do you agree? Internally, you have this belief that ice cream will give me happiness. But at the moment you feel this, moment you get this idea, the mind falls into a position of vexation or urge. Is that a positive thing or a negative thing? You feel that is a positive thing, of course, but actually, is it positive? If it is positive, then you don't want to have the ice cream. If you are already in a positive position, why do you want the ice cream? I mean, then we can just give the ice cream, show you the ice cream, and if you are in a positive state, we'll just take it away. You should be happy right now, right? No, it's a negative state. Right? So now, with this negative state, now what was our original view? Ice cream gives us happiness. Now, are you in happiness? No, you are not in happiness. Okay. Still, you didn't have the ice cream, of course. So now you are in vexation, and the time goes, and you go to the supermarket and open the fridge and take the ice cream and go to the counter, you pay, and the moment of truth. Right? Okay. So now you have the ice cream. Now someone comes and snatches it. Are you happy? No. Okay, that means still you are in vexation. Okay, now you consume the ice cream. Now still in the negative state, right? Okay, this mental graph, still in the negative side. So your view was that ice cream gives you happiness. Agreed? Still, it didn't give any happiness at all. Right? So now in the negative state, at the moment you have the first lick. Okay, there's no other way to say that. Okay, the first bite. Okay, let's say bite. First bite, you feel pleasure. Okay, because now your mind goes down, and now at the point of consumption, your mind gets relieved out of it. At the point of consumption. The consumption and this mind's relief has nothing to do with both of it. Because, did ice cream contain happiness? No, if that is the case, you could consume it over and over and over and over again. But this vexation is relieved at that moment. Then you will feel this pleasure. This is, if you draw an arrow of this relief of vexation, it is upward towards the direction of happiness, right? So you feel happy because it is better than the state you were before. Of course, you should feel pleasure. But still, you are below zero. Are you really happy? The transition was, towards up, of course. But actually, where you started from zero and went down, 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 and you came back, but still at zero or below zero. Still you are, not on the happy side. What was the first view you had? Ice cream gives me happiness. But it gave you vexation and again, relief of vexation. Did it give you happiness? No, still on the scale below zero. Still below zero. So, the first view, was it correct? Was it correct? If it was correct, it should give you happiness. And more you consume, more happiness there should be. Right? Now, because of the original view, that ice cream gives you happiness. That view, because of that view only, you had this vexation. How do you prove it? Just don't take it like that. Okay, if there's anything, compete. Do you want to play? Okay, do you want to play with toy cars? No. Will it give you vexation? No, because your view about this toy car is not that it will give you pleasure. Right? This view that's saying it will give you happiness will give you vexation. So view of something being pleasurable will give you vexation. Okay, that contradicts the view. Okay, you feel that this gives you happiness. And if that gives you suffering or the vexation, is the view true? No, it is false. So the mind is ignorant of the truth. Mind doesn't know the truth. Mind thinks that this is pleasurable, but it gives vexation, suffering. So is it true? Is your view true? But because of that view, you can't stay without consuming it. If we promise to give you all ice cream, I am not insulting you. I'm explaining the way of the mind. So whatever you like, if we remind you that you want to have that, you have this yearning inside, that means the view of something being pleasurable gives you suffering, not happiness. So is that view correct? No, that view is wrong. But because of that view, you fall into that vexation. Which means this ignorant mind will result. I mean, there are few steps in between. I mean, there's this attachment and all those states, but I don't have time to explain you all that. So, you fall into that vexation because of the view that these objects are pleasurable. Okay. So, what is meditation? What is meditation? We came for a meditation retreat, right? Okay. So, what is meditation? Meditation is that you take this Dhamma, take this truth. I mean, this is just a reminder. You might know these things because, I mean, I don't have all the time. I mean, just around 45 minutes I had. So, you take this to Valimalu. You take this to your, I mean, you don't have to go to Valimalu to contemplate, right? You can just contemplate here, while you are here, and while you go for alms. I mean, you might see some sort of food that you might like, and you might see something that you want to see, you like to see. At that moment, think about the view. Your view is that this is pleasurable. But actually what it gives is great vexation and relief of vexation. Aren't you better off if you didn't have that view? The wrong view? So what you have to do is prove your mind. This is like a court case. The mind says, yes, the ice cream is pleasurable. Pleasurable. Now what do you have to prove? No, it is vexatious. You have to give proofs or the evidence. You have to give all the evidence, all possible evidence that this is vexatious rather than being pleasurable. The mind says it is pleasurable, but through the logic you have to prove that it is vexatious, not pleasurable. That is the contemplation, that is the meditation that Buddha taught us to do. So you have to prove yourself, prove the mind that the view you have towards these external things, food or the sights or the movies, games, whatever, or males, females, everything. Those views of that they are being pleasurable is flawed. That is what you have to prove yourself. So, in the evening you will get a chance to contemplate, to have time to think about your life. I mean, you don't have to wait till the evening. Now and the next moment. Because the vexation, I mean, will you experience this vexation only in Valimalu? No, right? It comes throughout the day. So whenever you have this vexation, when you feel that you want something, you are in the trap. That you feel that thing gives me happiness. That is why the mind is vexing. But we proved that it cannot be the case. Because of this internal vexation only, you feel this. And the relief, you relieve out of vexation. And what does that prove? The happiness is there in the ice cream. That is what it proves, right? The moment you take the first bite of the ice cream, what does it prove? Yes, the happiness is in the ice cream. That is what is proved. So when at the moment of pleasure, this wrong view is proved. So that is what we have to prevent. We have to argue our case against, because now there's a very good lawyer on the other side that proves that pleasure is there in the outside world. Now judge is almost ready to give the judgment. You have to fight against that strong lawyer to prove that this happiness is not there in the object. It is just, it gives huge vexation. Because of this view, the next step is you attach to that object, because that gives you happiness. And the mind goes into this state of vexation. And the relief of vexation will prove that happiness came from the object. So it proves the wrong view. Right? So, which is incorrect. So this cycle will continue as long as you don't prove it. You don't prove that this is the truth of the system. The truth that the Lord Buddha has taught us. Until then, we went behind all those material things that we thought that would give us happiness. But is there anyone who got this happiness? Who is content with what they have? With all the things in the world, is, let's say, Elon Musk. He was my idol back then. So, is he happy? Do you consider him to be happy? Come on, he owns a Tesla. He should be happy. No? SpaceX? What else? I don't know. Hyperloop, everything. So, with all those companies, is he happy now? Do you want to be a disciple of Elon Musk? If he is happy, you should be. Right? I once were. But because of the ignorance. So, that cycle will never give you happiness, because the proof of the pudding is in eating, right? So the proof is in your life. After spending, I don't know, from 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of your life, are you happy? Are you truly, honestly happy? So, isn't that enough proof that you can't gain this happiness from the outside? Okay, so now we have learned this logic, right? That the wrong view, that the pleasure is coming from the outside, it will put your mind into vexation, which is not happiness, which is yearning, and that will you will relieve yourself out of vexation, and at that time you will feel the pleasure. And if you don't show the truth at that point, the vexation will build up, because the view gets stronger. The view, which is the happiness is on the outside. All right? Okay, so I hope that made sense. It was very difficult to teach all of those in 45 minutes. Usually we take how long, right? You have been listening to these sermons for more than 6 months now. So, yeah, I think you got something out of it. And today evening, you will have these discussions and this noble metta meditation, and also this time for reflection. I think you will have in your lanyards where to go and what to do. So, if you want any extra information, I think there will be Anagarika Mahatyas around, and you can ask the questions. And so take maximum out of this chance. I don't know how much merit you all have to come here and participate in something like this. Out of a lot of merits. I mean, I honestly feel that you all are very meritorious people. So, yeah, and you can also earn merits during the alms and all your time here. So, earn your merits and consume your merits during the evening. Right? I think Amadasana Swamin Nanse has briefly explained your schedule for the evening, afternoon. I want to remind you that just after this, you will have around 30 minutes of a break, and you can go to the washrooms and whatever. And the first procession of Buddha Puja will come in, and after that, the Mahasangha there will be a procession of Mahasangha. So all the gents can go with mutukudas or pearl umbrellas, and you will be guided. Those who want to do that can participate in that. And all the ladies, if you want, you can stand alongside the road and watch it. Otherwise, you can stay in the hut, and I think it will be shown on the big screen. And also, just a reminder about Indul Pindavata. He told you that out of our respect, we will stand up. But for convenience, mentally stand up and offer it. Mentally stand up and offer it, but physically be seated and do it. And also, after your meal, you will get a chance to collect the alms balls and water bowls, and maybe I think gents will have the chance to wash the hands of Swamin Nanses. So, do as much merits as possible. So, to your heart's content, to all the merits possible, because you all don't get a chance to come over every week, right? You might meet Amadasana Swamin Nanse every week, but this is a procession of more than 100 monks and a lot of anagarikas. So it is, for you, some of you, it might be once in a lifetime chance. So do the maximum. Get the maximum out of this. This day will be a life-changing day for all of you. Okay? So, I hope everything's clear to you. So, I wish you the very best to get maximum out of this day. Okay. With all the merits we have acquired today by organizing these sermons and by coming here and helping others to come here and listening to these sermons, with all those merits, may you and I and all sentient beings attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana.